All right. You in here, nigga?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. We live. It's just the first time I've actually been able to do this thing on Zoom. Every time I've always tried to do it on what is that other damn thing? StreamYard. It's never worked.
All right.
So we live now. And let me see if this damn thing. I was looking to see if there was a chat because I like to see what these niggas are doing. Hold on. Something's wrong here. We got an echo.
You got your headphones on?
All right, can you hear me?
Yep.
I think we still live. I think I may have. All right. Okay. I had to stop the echo. Play back. So. Okay. All right. Check 1, 2. This is your boy Tony Maceo. I've been waiting to do this for a week. But I wanted to do it with the Fat Mac because I knew he would have an interesting take on things. And as always, this nigga never disappoints. And I knew he would be able to relate to this topic because in a lot of instances, he's lived this. I think there are slight differences in this case, but nevertheless, he has a bird's eye view on this situation. Now, as one who has been thoroughly in this situation before, so to speak, though not exactly in this situation, I have an input, I have a perspective, but it's probably not as deep as his. And I heard yours this morning, and I listened to it, and I said, okay, I got that, but then I had to look at it the same way I looked at Cosby. The same way I looked at the Cosby joint is the way I looked at this from the perspective of I evaluated what was on hand. See, I didn't get into speculation of what he was doing because my thing was that if he was doing something, somebody would have put this nigga on blast because there is a reality show. There is a reality TV show for anyone that will come out right now and put Will Smith on blast. So if there was anything on him, now would be the opportunity for somebody to spill it. Now would be the perfect time for someone to drop something on Will Smith. And it's been basically 2 weeks later, nobody said anything. So my thing is this just a situation? To me, it's just a situation of a good dude. Didn't say it was perfect. Didn't say it was perfect. Didn't say it was perfect. This is a good dude caught up with a hood rat. And I can relate to that. I can very well relate to that. And I understand that. I get that. But I noticed that there was a sector they instantly tried to go at him. And you can see him sitting there in that chair. You see you see that look on that nigga's face. That nigga's broken. That nigga is broken. He is thoroughly broken. Now, I listened to your podcast and what was interesting, you said, well, Will was doing his dirt, and that could be true. But my thing is that even if he did his dirt, obviously he was better at doing it. Because ain't none of his bitches making diss records. Ain't none of his bitches coming out with exclusives for TMZ and headline news saying Will Smith thus and so. So my situation was, okay, this was a nigga that just got caught up with a ratchet. And I'm seeing there's a certain sector of people that just don't want to accept that. They just don't want to accept, look, this nigga just got caught up with a hood, because that's what she is. Because let's lay it out for the record now. This is on the record.
All right.
This is a woman that was a sex addict. Because she's admitted she was a sex addict. She comes from the hood rat background that you and I are very familiar with.
Yeah.
Stop me when this doesn't sound familiar. Mama on drugs, crackhead.
What is that? Her mama was on drugs?
Her mama, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Her mama and Pac's mama were addicts together. That's how she bumped into Pac. Okay. Mama's an addict. Daddy ain't around. Okay. Mama is in and out. Well, by in and out, I mean her sobriety. Sometimes she's on the level, sometimes she's not. You understand what I'm saying? Coming from the projects, hood rat background, okay, has a propensity for thug niggas, swinging with thug niggas. You clearly see that. Hook up with the nice guy. Hook up with the nice guy, and the nice guy gets done in. See, when I heard your podcast, you were talking about you and your wife. When I heard your podcast, I thought about you and the villain in black. I call that. I thought about the villain in black because that's right. Because I remember that situation when you actually tried to go straight with this bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. You actually tried to go straight. Because I don't think in some instances, see, I can't compare Lynette to Jada because that's apples and oranges to me. I can't. You just can't do it, dog.
Okay.
But I can compare LD to Jada. That's more of a comparison to me. Okay. Right. You swooped in, you tried to save her. And I'm talking about, let's go back in the journal logs. Let's go back in the motherfucking journal logs. 2006. 2006. And if this is a scene straight out of Will and Jada's relationship, you wrote vividly. He was like, okay, me and her are a couple now. But then when you read those, and I'm plugging the journal logs, if y'all think I'm lying, please go and subscribe to it. If for nothing else than to read the journal logs. You ain't got to look at the movie. You ain't got to look at the videos. Read the journal logs. That shit is entertaining. Go look at the journal logs. Back in 2006 to when Mike was saying, look, okay, we're together now. We're a couple. And in my mind, when you read that, you didn't say we was a couple with other bitches. You said we were a couple.
Right.
As in we're together. And then what that funky bitch did was y'all were breaking up, making up, breaking up, making up. And I recall what you wrote you said, this bitch is crazy.
Yeah.
He was like, I can't stand this evil ass heifer. You see what I'm saying? But then in another minute, it was total exhilaration. We back together again. Whoopee! And then goddamn 2 entries later, I hate this stinking bitch. Look at that scowl on her face. You even took a picture with a scowl on her face going through the car wash. You see what I'm saying? So that type of erratic personality, though her background may not be the same, her mannerisms and her disposition was the same as in this case. So when you did that, I said, well, no, that's not a fair comparison for me. The fair comparison was you with LD, not you with your wife. Because at one point, LD had your wife status with you. Right. And another scene straight out of the True Hood Stories, Mac City True Hood Stories. You tried to domesticate this wild ass Mutual of Omaha Wild Kingdom home. Right. You tried to domesticate. What happened when you tried to domesticate this bitch?
Well, it obviously didn't work.
No, we know it didn't work, but what happened? We know this shit didn't work.
I don't know. You got to narrow that shit down, nigga. Bitch.
I'm gonna make it very narrow for you.
Okay.
When she moved in with you.
Yeah, she moved in
with you.
Yeah.
And then when she came home, she didn't want you getting no meat on the side.
Right.
But by the time she got home, she done hit B-Rad, Dutchie, and all that other shit. So she expected you. Now she knew who you were. She knew where you came from, but she still expected you to be at home, twiddling your balls while she out here banging all these niggas on the way home from work.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, okay, well, if we put you in that situation or we put you in that circumstance, okay, here's a good guy. Good guy. You wasn't doing anything wrong. You were trying to abide, even when you were with, here's the thing that set it off for me. Here's the thing that was different for me. Even when you were with your wife, you told your wife straight up this is what it was. Now, you probably asked for more than what you was prepared to accept. But you even brought them to the house. You didn't do that with LD. when you tried to work. You didn't do that. You tried to go the straight and narrow, and this bitch drove you fucking crazy.
Can't lie about that.
Okay?
Yeah.
So when all these other women were calling and saying, Big Mike, I need to put in some work. Big Mike, you were swerving them hoes to the side because you were trying to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And while you were doing the right thing, she was doing the wrong thing. And then on top of it, none of your hoes went public. It was the niggas that exposed them, that caused them to go public. You know, and so in that instance, it's similar because here's this nigga, he gonna go on the Breakfast Club and make an interview about this woman on the Breakfast Club. And you know what it was. You know it was a PR stunt to sell his weak ass records. You know what it was. But as you pointed out earlier, and as I was able to, ascertain from my investigation, this is a grimy nigga off the street, dog. This is a grimy nigga off the street. This is what's the little white? We don't even know his name. Her last little episode with this hardcore goddamn white boy with tattoos all over his face.
Oh, you talking about LD?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, whatever his name is, we'll have to call it. It's unimportant. In the
Tyler.
Whatever this motherfucker, it's not important. The names are not in. The names are never important in this motherfucker. Okay. They're never important. But here's the thing: she took this nigga that's below her, off the street, and then tried to throw you under the bus with a nigga that's below her. The same way this bitch tried to throw a man who is still her husband under the bus.
Okay, this is what I need to know. Okay. First of all, because I didn't do that much research into this shit. I think I watched maybe like a 6 or 7 minute snippet of that interview. Yeah. You said that he did a diss record.
August Alsino got a diss record out, my nigga. Him and Rick Ross. And you would think Rick Ross would know better after what 50. You remember when 50 was flossing with his bitch?
Yeah.
You remember that? You would think he would know better to do it, but he went ahead and do it. Nothing to see here. So he jumped in on this track with Alsina, where they basically dog, this is some disrespectful shit.
Okay.
This is some disrespectful shit.
Okay, now once again, like I'm trying to get the history right. This is supposed to be Jaden's best friend.
This is Jaden's. I don't know about best, but this is his friend.
This is his friend.
This is somebody he was kicking it with. Obviously, he was cool with the nigga.
Okay.
This is his friend. He brought this man home with him. He brought this boy home with him, around his parents. And evidently Will was in the house because Will said, well, when we met him, Og was sick. The typical, it's the typical grimy nigga background, okay? The song ain't on the chart. He's a hood superstar. Again, this sounds like a script. This sounds like a scene right out of the journal. A hood superstar. Nigga ain't got no money. He hooked on drugs. You see, and he brought him in the house, and Jaden's mother begins to bang him.
Okay, what I'm trying to figure out is how long was this relationship? When did they meet him, and how long before the relationship started? Do you know?
She said that when they met him, she didn't put a date on. She said 3 or 4 years ago. In the interview, it was 3 or 4 years ago. She got into a quote unquote entanglement with this nigga. She got into an entanglement. First, it started out as her trying to help him. Then it blossoms into a relationship. Okay. She wanted to, quote, feel good. All right. So evidently she continued it. Well, she continued it for a minute because the niggas got selfies of them together. Right. They haven't put out there how long of a time it was, but it had to be, it wasn't no 90-day thing.
Right.
Situation where this nigga was in her house and he's doing drug rehab in this woman's house. And why is this? Why, if this nigga got a problem, Y'all sitting out there in Hollywood, you wanted to get this nigga some help. Why didn't you get this nigga a doctor?
Mm.
Why didn't you send this nigga to a rehab center? Why did you have to be the one to rehab? Why didn't you send this nigga? Why didn't you do an intervention with this nigga? Why did you have to rehab? So my point here is this ain't no 90-day relationship. This ain't no 60-day relationship. If you look at the way, if you listen to how they laid it out, this was something that went on for this had to be at least 6 months or better. Had to be before this motherfucker could turn from or metamorph from the junkie, your son's junkie best friend, or your son's junkie comrade, to now being your bed partner, to now being your fuck partner. That didn't happen overnight, dude.
Okay.
So my situation is, okay, everybody's pointing at Will. And I'm looking at Will, and everybody's saying, well, he did this, he did. Okay, where's the proof of what he did? Because they said, and I heard you said on the podcast, you said, well, look at his weird kids. And I'm like, oh, okay. But look at Trey, his first son by his first wife. That nigga perfectly normal.
Mm-hmm.
The only missing apparatus here, or the only thing that's out of whack here, is who his kids are by.
Mm-hmm.
If his kid is with a hood rat, he get all this niggatry. If his kid is with a woman that, as far as we know at this time, appears to be decent, the kid is normal.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put together the logical processes, if we put together and just use just a little bit of deduction, we can see, and I'm not saying he didn't do anything. I'm saying he's a good guy. I didn't say he was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
If we put together a logical deduction of what happened here, we can clearly see, or we can clearly conclude that the problem ain't with him, dog. It ain't with him. It's with her. Her background spells it out.
Mm-hmm.
Her background spells it out. Her episode spells it out. I mean, they in this nigga's house, dog. Come on, man. You in this nigga's, y'all can't go get a hotel? Y'all can't afford a Best Western? Y'all can't afford a Motel 8, a Motel 6? Y'all can't go to the Holiday Inn? Y'all can't go to the Hilton? You in this nigga's house? That would be like LD bringing B-Rad to your spot and smashing him there.
Mm-hmm.
Would you accept that?
Oh, no, I wouldn't accept that, no.
I didn't think so.
No.
I didn't think so. But I heard you say in your podcast, you say this all the time. It's a line from the Pimps. You said a pimp's love is a pimp and a whore's love is different than a square's love. This is what you said.
Right.
But yet when you were with this girl, this was a conventional relationship, and she knew where you came from. She knew your background. She met you in the grind. She met you in the grind. She met you on the grind. That don't legitimize her bringing B-Rad or Tyler or some other off-brand nigga in your spot to smash him.
Yeah, it all depends on what sort of agreement you have.
And that's another. Go ahead.
Yeah, just like where you have on that Red Table Talk shit, man. They made an agreement that they was gonna go their separate ways and they was gonna do what they do separate from each other. So I'm thinking to myself, I don't know why a lot of motherfuckers is giving her this smoke when Will basically said, okay, well, you do you and I'm gonna do me.
Here's why. It's one thing to say you do you and I'm gonna do me. It's another thing when the motherfucker follow that shit up with, what did you do? What did you do? And the question was asked because Alcina put this narrative out there. He said that Will knew. He said that Will gave consent. And according to the table talk, no such consent was given. And when he told her, you need to define what the fuck you did. You need to explain what this is. And she got downright indignant. In her own little snippy way, she got downright indignant. Yeah, that's what I said. I said I had a relationship. That's what I said. No, bitch, you slipped on this nigga's dick. That's what happened. You jumped up and down on this nigga's dick. Confess. So it's clear if he gave an agreement, he didn't give an agreement to that extent. He didn't give an agreement to have this bitch come in his house and smash this nigga in their bed. He didn't give that agreement.
Well, this is what I'm gonna do, man, because of course I've had intimate knowledge of this situation, and when it come to dudes always looking at their female as property, man. You know what I mean? Just when I gave my wife permission to do what the fuck she got to do, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But when she went ahead and did it, I was still taken aback and I was still hurt. And I was still thinking to myself, just like Will, bitch, explain yourself.
But you didn't ask her, what did you do, though, my nigga? You didn't
No,
ask her,
no,
what did you do?
no, I didn't ask her what did she do, but still, I was still indignant and I was still looking at the bitch like she did some sort of major infraction. Which really she didn't. It was just me being a man, being in my feelings because I didn't think that she had the balls to do what the fuck I said she needed to do.
Even
Get
though
out
you
my
told
face.
her to do it.
Even though I told her to do it. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me ask
So,
you this question. Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you this question. Did he smash Lynette in your house?
I don't know. I did have to go to work.
Okay, you did have to go to work. Did he publish pictures of him smashing your wife?
I would not know.
You would not know.
I know they do. I do know that they did have pictures and video. I did see them on a laptop.
Okay.
I don't know if he published.
But okay, their shit is published.
Mm-hmm.
Their shit.
What you talking about? Just them out on the town? Just
he got he got pictures in this woman's bed. He got pictures in the house, dude. Okay.
Hey, what dig? Like I said in my podcast, mm-hmm. I don't like the nigga. You know what I mean? I don't like who she chose to do this with because it's obvious he a fuck nigga. I understand that. You know what I mean? You know, there's no way that I'm going to be able to excuse the type of low morale or low character of this individual that she fucking with. So you got me
like Tyler? You mean like Tyler?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like Tyler.
Tyler.
And I got the full scoop on that. You know what I mean? As far as the Tyler motherfucker, man. But yeah, that was my main concern about the whole situation. It wasn't the fact that she was messing with a dude half her age. It wasn't the fact that she was messing with a dude, period. It was the fact that she was messing with a dude that was supposed to be so close to the family. And that was basically an integral part of the family. You know what I mean? That's what I didn't like. That was my situation where I was thinking, man, she really shit on Will when she did that with that particular dude. You know what I mean? That was my gripe.
And people will say, now she came out and made a statement recently that she was in a throuple with Will and his supposed ex-wife. But ain't nobody else talking. The ex-wife ain't coming out and saying, yeah, this throuple is true. Will ain't coming out and saying this throuple is true. The people that around them are not coming out and saying this is true. So the only evidence that I have on record is hers. I mean, we can speculate till the cows come home. We can speculate what he may have been doing, what we thought he was doing, but we ain't got no wax.
But really what he's doing is irrelevant. I mean, I speculated myself, but my whole argument hinges upon they made an agreement. You go your way and do you, I'm gonna go my way and do me. Now, what that actually entails in fine print, I don't know, and you don't know. I guess you're making speculations yourself by listening to the Red Table Talk. But when I'm looking at it, and she was basically giving that nigga the side eye, letting him know, look, nigga, don't start tripping because I know where the bodies is buried. You know what I mean? There's a lot of shit I could say that I ain't gonna say. You know what I mean? Because you guilty as fuck on a lot of levels. You know what I mean? And
go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, man. And me just knowing how many dudes I fuck with as far as my partners and my friends or whatever, every time they female skate out like that on some public shit, it's usually a reaction because the dude is out there. He's so oblivious to what's going on in his house because he's so busy fucking this chick, that chick, he don't even understand what's going on in his own domicile, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I've heard this line before with Jada talking about she just want to feel good. It's been such a long time since she felt like a woman and all that shit. That was the same line that Lynette was hitting me with, because I was so busy running the streets, fucking with this female and that female. I didn't really, I like shit, whatever. I'm busy living my life. I'm like fucking this broad. I got money, cash, hoes. I got everything. I don't need you, bitch. You know what I mean? But then the chickens came home to roost.
And what?
Hey, the chickens came home to roost, nigga. I told her, hey, I was just drinking the Kool-Aid. I just thought I was so bad. I thought I was just king shit. I like, hey, go find you a nigga to play with. You know what I mean? Well, I handle this money and get at these bitches. And then when I did that shit, then I had the Will Smith face. I had the Will Smith face. I'm sitting over there just boo-hooing like, damn, bitch, really? You know what I mean? And I got the nerve to look at her with the side eye talking about, how could you? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, nah, man, nah, we can't do that as a man. You got to own up to, you know, when you had your part to play in something, man. And I think firmly he had a lot to play in this shit, man, because looking at that table talk, she was telling that nigga to, you know, pump your brakes, nigga. Pump your brakes. We both know what's really going on around here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we both know, bruh. I'm trying to tell you, there's some skeletons in that closet.
Well, here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I took my cue off what they said.
Uh-huh.
And I guess, see, I'm trained in a court of law. See, when a person makes a statement in a court of law, that's not speculation. That's called an admission.
Okay.
You understand? So when he said, what did you do?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he gave, according to his reaction, according to his statement, when he told her to explain herself, clearly he didn't give her that kind of leeway to do what she did in his house. And I know he would give her leeway to do this shit and put his family on Front Street. See, now, if they had an agreement, let's go back to this thing about agreement. Mm-hmm. Everybody's been saying they were swingers. Everybody was saying they had this agreement. And by agreement, let me explain what I mean by agreement. Agreement means you go fuck who you want to fuck, I go fuck who I want to. It's the old don't let me see it game. Mm-hmm. So you do what you do and I do what I do. We just don't throw it in each other's face. According to that table talk, that man, if they had this open agreement, it's clear that it was news to him. Mm-hmm. By his facial features. Is it possible he could be having tricks remorse? Yes. Mm-hmm. It is definitely possible that he could have had tricks remorse, but that wasn't what I saw at that yellow table. Mm-hmm. And what I saw from her, it wasn't that nigga, I can unleash the dogs of war on your ass, or that I could pull out the skeletons. It was, look, I did this. Let's move on. I want to get it out and I want to get it over. In other words, let me confess in peace. And even when he said this, he said, well, about your transgressions. The bitch shot back and said, well, I don't really see it as a transgression. And I'll throw you this bone. Okay. According to, if they had an agreement, you go do you and you go do me, it's not a transgression. Right. But, because he said, I was done with your ass. I was done. She didn't say she was done with him. Mm-hmm. That ain't what she said. If she had the skeletons, she would have said she was done with him. He said, I could love you through anything. I was done with your ass. Mm-hmm. She didn't have nothing to say, well, you did X, Y, and Z, you did thus and so. The operative person here in this split is him. He's the active principal. He's the one that's dismissing her ass. She said, yep, you were done with me. Mm-hmm. It seems like if she would have been the victim of something sinister that he did, she would have said, I'm done with your ass. Right. She didn't say that. She said, you kicked me to the curb. Not I kicked you to the curb. You kicked me to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me, based on her testimony on the Red Table Talk, that if she had something, it was relatively minor. If she had something, it wasn't on the scale of this shit. So what can she at least, what can she unleash that will cover this up?
Shit,
what can
man.
she unleash that he don't already know?
Hey, it's a Hollywood couple, man. It's a Hollywood couple,
It's a
and they
Hollywood.
do.
This is some nigga shit. I don't
It's
care
a
about them
Holly.
being in Hollywood. This is
Nah,
some
man.
hood shit. This
Look,
is some shit that happens in the hood every single day. The only difference is they got a little bit more money, and that money should have worked to cover this up. That should have never been this scandal in the press. But this is shit niggas do all the time. This is shit bitches do all the time in the hood. All the time.
well, I'm just saying there's a lot of sucking and fucking going on between Hollywood couples, man. So
agreed. But I'm saying in this case, nobody has introduced who he's sucking and fucking.
Mm-hmm.
You brought out, you said in the podcast you talked about, you said, and the movie you was talking about was 6 Degrees of Separation. That's where he played.
Yeah.
Homosexual role.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. I said, but then I said, well, who else? Is he the only one? Okay. Ving Rhames played in Holiday Heart. You ain't seen nobody coming out talking about they went up his ass. You saw Wesley Snipes play to Wong Fu from Julie Newmar.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody talking about they went up Wesley Smith's ass. Excuse me, Wesley. God damn it, Wesley Snipes. Ain't nobody talking about they went up Wesley Snipes' ass.
Yeah.
So again, if we mount up the evidence that's on hand, dog, that shit points at her. It just happens to point to her in this instance. Now, could some shit have been happening? Yeah, but let's see it. If it's that, let's bring the shit out. There's no point in withholding it now.
Yeah, there's a big point in withholding it now. I mean, she's still married to the motherfucker, and he's still a cash cow. You know what I mean? You just don't start running your mouth and blabbing, and you kill the goose that laid the golden egg, nigga.
But she's still working too, right?
Not that I know of. I don't see her in shit.
So in other words, she done fell off, is what you're saying. So
you tell me what she playing in.
I don't know what she.
Besides Gotham.
She ain't even playing in Gotham anymore.
Yeah, I know.
She ain't even playing in Gotham anymore.
Yeah.
But
so it wouldn't be intelligent for her to try and crucify this motherfucker in the court of public opinion too much. You know what I mean? To damage his ability to basically take care of her.
That's a fair point, but judging from his body language, again, this is how they ended the interview. And this goes to your point. This is how they ended the interview. We ride together, we die together. Bad marriage for life. You see? And my thing is this. You said, well, she probably don't want to blow him up. She done blew him up. She done blew him up. She has blown him up in front of the world. Yes.
No. There's a big difference between her creeping and blowing him up that way and her blowing him up in another way where she's pointing out all of his indiscretions. She hasn't done that.
Well, let me go back.
She has hinted and insinuated that he's had some indiscretions, but she hasn't actually.
But that's what I'm saying. She's already done that. Not on this table talk, but she published 3 days ago that they were part of a throuple.
That's not an indiscretion.
That is an indiscretion.
No, it's not. If they both agree to have sexual relationships, with a threesome or a foursome or a throuple, how is that an indiscretion?
It's an indiscretion because you're saying if they had an agreement to do this, and she should be allowed to do this, and so now she don't want to blow him up because it's a cash cow. In the meantime, she's telling what was unknown. She's already airing him out. Is she choosing to air out certain secrets and keep the rest of that shit? Is that what she's doing? Well, if that's what she's doing, if you sit up here saying, well, this guy's not squeaky clean. I've been in a threesome, a throuple, which is a three-way couple. Something his ex-wife isn't saying, by the way, who could be saying. But if it was a thing where I didn't want to air him out, nigga, I'm not gonna say nothing. If I don't want to hurt my cash cow, nigga, I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm not spilling any tea. I'm not dropping any dimes if I want this nigga to be my cash cow. And looking at him on that stage, looking and seeing his mannerisms and his motions, I do not believe that he's gonna stay with this bitch. I could be wrong, but I don't believe he's gonna stay with this bitch after seeing what I saw from his facial features, from his body language. I don't think he's gonna stay with that bitch. I don't think he's gonna stay with it. But again, I could be wrong. But if she was gonna keep her mouth shut, bitch, keep your mouth all the way shut. Don't leak this out and keep that. If you're gonna air it out, air it out. Because by you continuing to gossip in this atmosphere, you ain't doing him no favors.
Well, I stand by that. Ain't no indiscretion. That was something mutually agreed upon. You know, I'm talking about something that would crucify him in the court of public opinion, and ain't nobody gonna be tripping him having
nigga, he's crucified in the court of public opinion. The nigga's a cuckold.
He is not guilty of anything by banging two of his wives at the same time. That ain't shit.
But he is guilty of being a cuckold, according to August Alsina.
Hey, whatever. Shit. I mean,
but that nothing makes him look. If you're gonna be Hancock, you're gonna be a superhero. You're gonna be in Wild Wild West. You're gonna be in Men in Black. You're gonna be in Bad Boys, and then a nigga leaks that he cucked you with your wife.
Okay. So how can he prove that he's actually a cuck? Because we both know what the operative definition of a cuck is, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so what is he saying, that he was fucking Jada in front of him? Is that what he's saying?
No, he said Will gave his consent.
Mm-hmm.
His consent. Cucks usually give. Now we don't know if he was in the room. According to the Red Table Talk, he wasn't even aware of shit.
Right.
He wasn't even aware that this. So obviously this boy is lying. So we also have to chalk that up, because he's thrown in a lot of half truths to cover up his niggardry too.
Yeah, you get no disagreement from me. That, I mean, this little nigga, he a scumbag ass nigga, man. And I'm thinking to myself, I can only think about, I know it's apples and oranges and shit, man, but I've always told cats, if I was in a situation where I have my significant other and I have her messing with some dude I don't know off the streets, you know what I mean? It's like, who's to blame here? Is it who should I be checking? Should I be checking the wife, or should I be checking this nigga I don't know? You know what I mean? Of course, I should be checking the wife, because this nigga don't know me. He don't owe no allegiance towards me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna check. You know the whole phrase. You never check the pimp, you always check the hoe. But in this situation, where
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. But in this situation right here, where he is like an integral part of this family, and he knows Will. I mean, he knows Will like I would assume like the back of his hand, if he's staying up in their house and he getting nursed back to health and all of this shit. Me as a man, if I was Will Smith, I would have a serious issue with this nigga, and he would be lucky not to end up missing somewhere. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So the way I seen Will acting and behaving, you know what I mean? To me, there just wasn't enough anger and rage. I know he's an actor, you know what I mean? But for him to just kind of be laid back like that, and of course, you know, we seen the Will Smith face. We see the nigga was hurt. He was distraught. He was trying to fight the shit back. But nigga, I'm thinking to myself, how is this motherfucker still walking around? And now he making diss rap tracks and shit. Nigga, I don't see, you know, I'm speechless just thinking about it, because I'm thinking to myself, you ain't gonna be able to do that to me, nigga. Somehow, some way, you gonna reap the whirlwind. You not gonna be walking around this bitch, you know what I mean, talking shit and making money off the shit at the same time by going in, making tracks about this shit. You know, to me, Will ain't mad enough. So, which kind of makes me think that he does have some sort of foreknowledge of it, because to me, he ain't really reacting the way an alpha would react. And I'm not trying to reduce this down to no caveman shit for him to do something stupid and then fuck around and lose all his wealth and lose all of his endorsements and shit because he out there trying to prove, how gangster he is and shit. But I don't know, man. Just something just tells me like he's reacting a little too milk toast for my taste.
Well, I think that's I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. But the thing is, I think that's exactly the reason. I think one reason is, one, he wants to protect the image of his family, if it can be protected at this point. But two, I mean, he can't go all gangster on the red carpet in front of the world.
No, he can't. True.
But I also know, like back in the day, a lot of times when you said, well, don't check the pimp, check the hoe. This is why a lot of dudes, they would keep it straight gangster and they would shoot both of them. They would shoot him and shoot her. Because you have violated the sanctity of my home. I ain't talking about the marriage. I ain't talking about the marriage. You violated the sanctity of my home. You violated the sanctity of my family. And then, nigga, you gonna go celebrate it with a diss track? You trying to be number one on iTunes? By airing out, by basically making me look like a cuck, by making me look like a sucker, you gonna go make a diss track. It's not enough that you got away with you ice skating now. You ice skate. You done already fucked my separated wife, but let's just say I don't want nothing to do with it. You done already came and pissed in my home. You done already pissed on my bed. You done came in and marked your territory and fucked my wife in my house. Now you gonna gloat about it? Now you out here flossing like shit is sweet?
Right.
Something funny supposed to happen to you. Something fun, and you and I both know that if this was on a street level, take away the Hollywood aspect of it. If it's in the hood and it's a nigga that's selling dope and his rival on the block is fucking his bitch, we both know that bitch gonna get dealt with. And we both know that nigga's gonna get dealt with.
Man.
Because they see that, not only as a transgression, which she wouldn't admit to, they see that as grounds for weakness. How many times have you said, look, I know how these bitches are. You know how the speech goes. We need you to set that nigga up, bitch. We ain't gonna hurt that nigga. We just gonna rob that nigga. We ain't gonna hurt that nigga, bitch. Go on, set that nigga up. You out here starving, you broken, you got this lick on the hook, and you ain't even trying to cash out. You ain't even trying to pat this nigga's pockets. You need to go ahead and set this nigga up. You need to go ahead and do the right thing. So when you say his reaction, I could see that. I could very well see that, because on the streets, you know what the reaction would be. But again, this is Hollywood. So maybe his reaction can't be as grimy as he would like it to be, or as we would like.
There's no doubt. I mean, this is apples and oranges because there's bigger stakes involved. You know what I mean? When you a millionaire ass nigga, man, you don't do what street niggas do. You know what I mean? You got to have more cold and shrewd calculating steps to maintain, you know what I mean, your empire.
Matter of fact, let me take you back to another scene out of the Mac City Journals, if you will.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Yay.
There was a situation where I don't know if it involved the Black Mamba or some other group or some other dude or some other chick rather. And she was screaming, "Oh, you fucking with this fat nigga? You fucking with that fat nigga, bitch? You let him pimp you, so forth and so on." And you said that you wanted to grab that nigga and choke that nigga the fuck out. But here's what you said in your law. You said, I can't afford to get into no grimy shit with no nigga that ain't got shit to lose. You
Shit.
said, quote, you said, quote, I'm playing for big stakes.
Right.
I can't afford to become a casualty in these streets with this nigga that ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah. Man, I'm trying to remember because man, I had
So
about 4
if
or
we
5
see it like
incidences
that
like that.
from your position,
Can you hear me?
yeah, but yeah, I can hear you. But
Oh, okay.
you chose not to fold that nigga up, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you could have folded that nigga up. Now the alpha thing to do, and I hate using that term, the
Mm-hmm.
street nigga thing to do was to fold that nigga up and leave him laying.
Mm-hmm.
But just like you told me on the last podcast, the Skeeter Mills, I got shit to lose. I got shit to lose.
Well,
So I got to
basically,
play past that.
well, yeah, but there's other ways to make your mark and make a nigga understand you ain't to be fucked with. Just like that individual in particular, because I think you're talking about
So if
the
we
Black Mamba.
extend
Hey,
that,
can you
you
hear me?
also get that same way.
Can you hear me?
Well, I
Oh,
can hear you now. Hold on, let me shut this down because I was trying to open this. I'm opening this. Okay, it's done. Yeah, I can hear you. Make his
okay.
mark. Well, I don't know if he can actually make his mark on the red tape. I don't know if
No,
he
no,
can.
no, 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 no. That's what I'm saying, man. Like,
Uh-huh.
you may not be able to beat the nigga's ass or do anything over the top. You know what I mean? But I think the nigga that you was talking about was the. I think the nigga's name was Luke Mon with Black Mamba.
Yeah, that was him.
Saying,
That was
I
him.
think, yeah, but see, the thing is, like you said, I just bided my time. I ain't tripped. You know what I mean? And then later on, I think it was like a week later, this nigga, he fucked around and got locked up, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And his only saving grace was actually me, because the only
Right.
way his broad was making money was through me.
Was through you, yeah.
Uh-huh. So she was basically, please, I need help. I need to get Luke Mon out of jail. I was like, well, tell Luke Mon he's ass out. I like he gonna stay his ass up in that bitch till his court date and tell him that's courtesy of Big Mike. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, nigga. And so when he got out, oh, he was heated. He was madder than something because I think he spent an extra 2 months in jail or some shit. You know what I mean? Be like,
Right,
nigga,
right.
I told her, I like, nigga, don't bite the hand that feeds you, boy. I ain't got a pistol whip you to show you who running this shit. You know what I mean? He was like,
Exactly.
yeah, nigga, stop being around my bitch. Stay away from my bitch. I like, boy, I own your bitch and I own you, nigga. You know what I mean? So no, I'm not
Right.
saying just go out, in a blaze of glory and just start killing motherfuckers, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Will could crush this nigga in some other way, some other shape, some form of fashion, in an economic sense or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm
Well,
pretty sure.
he can crush him, I think, on wax because Will is they think because he's a comedian, he's not a
Mm-hmm.
battle rapper.
Right.
But the best battle rappers are comedians.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So this is only basically what, a week or two old. So let's give him a little minute
Mm-hmm.
before we write him off. But
Okay.
my point was this: there are times when you have to use your head. Because again, I
Mm-hmm.
asked you, again, going back to the last podcast you did, when KBK came at you with that knife, you
Mm-hmm.
could have blew that bitch, you could have blown the noodles out that bitch's scalp, but you did.
Right.
You did. You just
Well.
bided your time and you got her 2 years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
So let's give him, and he's a chess player. He's a chess player. Let's give him that same consideration. See, what bothered me about this whole thing is that everybody is shifting the weight on him when
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing there. There's nothing on record. There's nothing that's been put forth on wax to say this man did something. Now, if it come out that he been having niggas just run a train on him, and he
Mm-hmm.
just been taking dick up the ass, okay, so be it.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes out that he's been training hoes all up and down Southern California, so be it. But at this time, I don't have nothing. I don't have anything other than what I see in front of me, other than the evidence that's been presented by him and by her. And by the way, by the way, as proof, there's actually a prior interview she did with him. This ain't his first time on the red table. I don't know if you saw that. This ain't his first time at the red table. He came to the red table with her mother, and somebody else. And he was talking about how slick her mouth was. And he had to take a rolled up newspaper.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Whack her on the head because of her mouth.
Yeah.
You know, and he pretty much told her, bitch, your mouth is on Crisco. Your mouth is on Crisco. You're gonna have to beat the block. You're gonna have to kick rocks, bitch. Your mouth is just way too slick. And she was like, you'll leave me? Oh, he said, yeah, I'll leave you over that. So clearly this nigga had some nuts. He didn't just roll over and just let this bitch do this. And clearly he had some standards if he hitting this bitch on, I mean, he could have knocked her out, but his dad, and this is also on, come from the red table. His dad used to beat his mother. His dad used to, I mean, Skeeter Mills ain't got nothing on Daddy Smith. Okay. And yet he decided he didn't want to be that person, but he popped her, you know, over the head with a newspaper because she was out of pocket. And she didn't deny that she was out of pocket. You see? So it could be, or could it be, that this is just a ratchet ass bitch? It's just a ratchet ass bitch. Why is everybody, and I'm not talking about you in particular,
right?
But the people online, you see, they're constantly trying to swing the pendulum back at him. I'm like, you swinging the pendulum back at him for what? This bitch is displaying her ratchet nature right in front of you. You seeing her not taking accountability for nothing she say or nothing she does. She's saying she don't really see nothing wrong with what she did. She don't see nothing wrong with embarrassing her husband before the world. And clearly he didn't give consent. And if they had an open relationship, okay, what does that look like? What are the bells and whistles of that? Does that mean this nigga get to take a picture in my bed with you? Does that mean this nigga get to floss in my bedroom with you? Does it mean y'all get to, you know, roll around with my children? I mean, what does that mean? What's the substance of that? And so we can say open relationship, but from his actions and from what I've seen him exhibit, that relationship, if there was an open door, that bitch was cracked open. It wasn't wide open. So it clear. See, in your situation, everybody, you didn't like what you got, but it was the rules of the game. Everybody, even Lynette played the game according to the rules because you gave her the license to do it.
Right.
In this instance, the rule, it appears to me from the statements that were made, the rules were broken. Even in an open relationship, the rules were broken. Because in your shit, with your situation, Lynette could have fucked you up, but she didn't. She did. She could have took you before them white folks downtown and made your life miserable. With how many, y'all had, what, 20 years of marriage?
Shit, by that time, it was like 23 years.
Nigga, that's alimony all day long.
Yeah.
But she didn't do that.
Hence the reason why I don't have a lot of venom for no women, man, because shit, I know there's good women out here. I know there's good women out here, man.
And that brings me to my next point. The reason why you can't compare, or I couldn't compare, Jada to Lynette is because Jada is a ratchet. Lynette isn't.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And I would never be comfortable with saying that you would willingly marry a ratchet bitch. That's like saying you would marry Darling Nikki.
Shit.
You understand what I'm saying? So when I look at that, it's like, okay, this is what happens when you marry a ratchet. This is why in the end, you can't really save them. This is why in the end, you put them back out in the streets where you found them. This is why in the end, you don't marry this bitch. This bitch gets the 75. You don't marry this bitch. You put this bitch on the miniature welfare plan, goods and services, rides, cell phone bills, and whatnot. You don't bring this bitch in your house. This is the bitch you trick with. This is the bitch you do some flat back tricking with. You flat back trick with this bitch. This is not the one you marry. This is the one you marry.
Right.
So if there's anything that Mr. Smith is guilty of, he is guilty of possession of a ratchet in the first degree. He is guilty of ratchet possession. He is guilty of RICO level ratchetry charges, possession ratchetry charges in the first degree. This is a federal count here, you see. So if he's guilty of anything, he's guilty of that. He's guilty of what we've been saying time immemorial. It's not your pussy, it's just your turn. It was his turn, and he foolishly did this. This is another mistake that I think, and this is not speculation, this is coming from his words. He says, I can love you past anything. Now I'm going to ask you, Fat Mac, can you love these ratchets past anything? In terms of what they do to you.
Well, I would have to say I think I have, man.
No, you haven't. You haven't. No,
you sure?
Haven't. Yes, Christmas Jackson.
Well, I don't count her because that ain't no.
That ain't. She was on the squad. What I'm trying.
Nah, that bitch wasn't on no squad, man. I met that bitch once.
Well, she put in work with you though. So
one time.
Okay, but here's the thing. There's a standard.
Yeah.
There's a line you will not cross. This is not a conditional relationship. Bitch, you can strike out. Now let's come back to the villain in black. Cash App. Bitch, I ain't giving you no money. I ain't got no money. And this is in the Patreon. Go check out Patreon. This is in the Patreon. Go check out Patreon. I have no money. So why didn't you Cash App that bitch? Because she broke the rules.
Yeah, consequences and repercussions.
So no, I will not love you past anything. And in this instance, he saw that he couldn't love her past anything because he kicked her motherfucking ass to the curb. Again, that's coming from her. He kicked her to the curb. So the mistake he made was promising her some shit he knew he couldn't do. You can't love a motherfucker through everything. It just don't happen. See, with your situation, to you, these ratchets are entertainment. Let's keep it 100. To you, these bitches are entertainment. I mean, you're retired, you chilling at home, you doing your thing with your family, you fucking around with Izzy. You got to take Izzy outside. You see what I'm saying? That's different.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to you, that's entertainment. But this is this nigga's life.
Yeah.
This is this nigga's real life. You know, you were back in the day, and then also there were, when we talk about love people past anything, there were rules and they knew the immediate consequences. Nigga, how many times did you answer that door strapped when them hoes knocked?
Shit, about 75% of the time.
That's the whole point. You see what I'm saying? There was a clear line of demarcation into what was going to be allowed and what was not going to be allowed. You weren't going to accept anything just for them to put in some work. You weren't going to let them violate you just to put in some work. Right?
Right.
This nigga allowed himself to be violated just to marry her. And found out he couldn't do it. And even when these ratchets are out of pocket over here, you push the reset button, right?
Right.
So there are consequences to that. There are some things, bitch, that are unacceptable. There are some things that you just can't do here. There's some shit that's just not gonna go down here. So no, you don't love them through everything. You can't love them through everything.
Well, see, that's where we get the kind of like the definitions of love kind of mixed up, because in a way, me popping a bitch upside the head with a skateboard could be considered love.
I knew you.
If I really care about her well-being in the long term, you know what I'm saying? And so that's kind of like what I was thinking about when you hit me with that question. Because I've done a lot of disciplining on bitches, man. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't say that I was taking it easy on them, you know what I mean, and just letting them get away with anything. But I would quantify that as me having a certain amount of love for a bitch when I basically read her the riot act and let her know that just some shit that you ain't gonna be able to do. I've done a lot of discipline. Definitions of love.
Well, here's my thing. My point is, you knew at some point you had to cut them off.
True.
So when you say love, you don't love a bitch and then just say, look, I don't want nothing to do with you. You don't love a bitch and say, well, I turned my back on you. That's not what you do, right?
Right.
So clearly, in this instance, you can't say. Now, there are some bitches that you give a wide rope to. There's some bitches that you give a wide latitude to as far as what you let them get away with, okay? But here, right? Let's take, for instance, and here's another one. What happened when the bitch stole from you? What did you do?
I basically distributed her porn in some local drive-thrus, and I got my money back, and it kind of hurt her feelings, but
right. But there's a consequence. My point is there's a consequence for that action.
Yeah, imagine this bitch. I'm like, bitch, you think it's gonna be that sweet, huh? Okay. Damn, man. Yeah, you're right about that. No, so, we ain't gonna have that.
Exactly. So what I'm saying here is, you said, well, that's love. Nah, that ain't love. That's, you need to bear the consequences for your actions in this. I got love for you, but I'm not gonna let you get that off. I'm not gonna let you do anything like that. You see, and take for instance, okay, switch this story around. Put in you, LD, and OC. Okay. You remember the fuckery he pulled? Rest in peace to the young lady that just passed. This in the Patreon. Go check it out.
That's right.
When she did what she did, and you heard her say the things that she said, when she got caught with the thing that she got caught with, that she accused you of, and again, go into Patreon and go to MacCity.com to get the specifics. Question: did she ever repent for any of that?
Hell nah, boy. What
she was unrepentant, right?
Oh, that bitch crazy, man. Hey, that bitch a psychopath. Right. Had the nerve to flip it on me like I was crazy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm like, bitch. I'm like, what was the accusation? Damn, man, I can't remember.
You don't remember the accusation?
Because we was on a three-way. Because I had OC on the line.
I'm talking about what they actually accused, because she said you was fucking all these nasty hoes.
Okay, about the VD scam.
There you go.
Or the VD.
There you go.
Yeah.
And did she ever apologize for any of that?
Hell no. She ain't apologized for that. No.
Now, let me ask you something. Were you wrong in any of that?
No, I was not.
You were the most honorable motherfucker involved in it because it was part of the game. But yet, someone would say, some of them niggas, especially in the chat that you just came from, that shall remain nameless, because I don't put other niggas' names on my shit.
Right.
They would say you were a simp in that scenario. Do you agree with that?
I don't see how the fuck I'm a simp.
Exactly.
I don't see.
Exactly.
You know, like they was calling me a simp because I told them that I was bringing other females to my crib, and my wife had to accept it. But at the very end of that, of course, I ended up biting the bullet because the wife went ahead and swerved on me and got herself a little boyfriend. And then nigga was like, "Oh, nigga, you a simp. You a simp." I was like, man, I like to see any of you weak ass niggas bring like a flock of bitches to your house and introduce them to your wife. And your wife know that you fucking every one of them. And I got these lame ass niggas, man, calling me a simp, man. You can't make this shit up. Where did get these YouTube niggas from, man? It's fucking hilarious, man. But yeah, the thing was, but I thought you was just talking about just in general when I was on the phone with her and OC, because Tina was saying that the bitch was talking greasy behind my back. And OC, he was supposed to be a witness to it. And I'm like, OC, tell me what you told me that Donna was saying. And then now this nigga was a simp. Now this nigga, he didn't want to come up off of it. He was just I'm like, oh, so now you gonna be quiet, nigga? Now you ain't got nothing to say. You ain't say that bitch was throwing me under the bus. You know what I mean? When I ain't around. And so he was like, And then that bitch had the nerve to motherfucker just fly off the handle. I'm like, bitch, you owe me an apology. Nigga, I don't owe you shit. I'm a grown ass woman. I'm running this shit. I was like, ooh, I want to kill this bitch, man. I'm trying to tell you, I have no idea how me and her are still cool to this day. I have no idea, man. But yeah, man. Say what?
That you know what that sounds like to me?
What?
I don't really think of it as a transgression.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what that is.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't really think of what I did to you was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I'm a grown ass woman. You owe me an apology.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So my perspective, that's how I looked at it. When I saw this, I didn't see you in Lynette. I saw you in LD and OC.
Shoot, it's a mixture. There's a mixture of both of that. You know what I mean? I see. But my position is this. I'm not saying that anyone's at fault. I'm not saying anyone's to blame. I'm just giving a scenario where I think everyone has had their hand in it and they play a part in it. But I'm not definitively saying that this individual is the cause or this individual is to blame. Now, if I had to be like, if you did put a gun to my head and you was like, okay, so who do you really think is the main culprit here as far as percentage wise? You know, the grimiest individual in this equation would be Jada, just because she fucking with that dude who is supposed to be a friend of the family, supposed to be cool with Will. You know what I mean? That's, I can't really excuse that. You know what I mean? Because that's how niggas get killed. You know what I mean? Right. She ain't think enough about the August dude or Will to just say, this is a hands-off situation. This is a little too close to home. You know what I mean? That's my gripe with the chick.
Okay. Well, then it's like, okay, let me ask you a question that has been asked to me by my woman,
mm-hmm.
and by what we've been asked. I mean, they've been asked. This ain't a new question, but I want to clear the air because we get these questions all the time. The thing mm-hmm. is, and I think my man C. Douglas asked this question. I think somewhere in the chat. I'm looking at it because I go back to the chat crawl. He says nobody addresses the issue of these wounded or damaged men dealing with these low class or low-key hood rats. Mm-hmm. So the question becomes, okay, in your scenario, I want you to give me a snapshot of how you would think. Okay. What is it or what was it? And I'm asking you this question. Mm-hmm. I'm not you're my brother, so I'm not trying to put you on Front Street. I'm just asking this question. What was it that made you the fat man? Middle class lifestyle, nice, well, it was a nice job. Compared to when, if a nigga's unemployed, you had a job, you had a family, you raised what, 7, 8 kids? Something like that? Eight. Okay, 8 kids. You raised 8 children. You had a good wife. Mm-hmm. What would make a guy like you leave that to chase the hood rats in the street?
Well, it ain't about hood rats, really, man. It was how can I put this? Number one, I come from a long line of hustlers, man. You know what I mean?
Oh,
That
okay.
like street hustlers. I'm
All right.
probably like the most squarest dude in the family. You know what I
Right.
mean? But the hustler and the street shit, that blood still runs deep, man. But I also got an intellectual side from my father's side of the family, whom I never really knew, but according to my mother, my peoples on my father's side of the family
They were
was like,
squares.
yeah, they were squares, college educated and shit. So I kind of just stumbled onto that shit because it was a social experiment for the most part. I was seeing all of my partners having all these females and doing all sorts of just horrible, just monstrous things to these women. Now, keep in mind, this is while I'm married. And I was just like, really? I like it. If you shit on these bitches this bad, they'll come back. And they was like, oh, yeah, man. Yeah. It just didn't compute to me. You know what I mean? So what I was starting to do, because like I said, this is in the days before cell phones had videos and everything, man. If you wanted to film a female doing something, you had pretty much a big ass VCR tape recorder on your back to film it and shit. But my partners was filming females doing all sorts of ratchet shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, I want to do that, and this is while I was married, you know what I mean? But it just kind of morphed into a social experiment. I wanted to see if I could get the shit off too. I was like, man, fuck that. I went ahead and bought me a video recorder and I hit the streets and I was just like, shit, let me see how many females I could actually talk into letting me do something ratchet to them on video. And nigga, that's how it actually really started. It was a social experiment just to see how much bullshit I could just get away with. And then it morphed into me making money off of it because I was noticing cats was like, man, I heard you have video of homegirl, man. You know what I mean? Let me get that. And I'll be like, shit, you got, what you got on you? And they'll be like, shit, what you mean? Like, nigga, give me 100 and I'll let you get the tape. Now, of course, back then, not knowing jack shit about business and porn and contracts and all of that kind of shit, man. Yeah, I was dirty macking like a motherfucker, but I soon learned I better quit doing that shit and I better start getting some John Hancocks. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was basically on some fluke shit. Intellectually, I just wanted to somehow figure out a way to do my own social experiment to figure out what the hell make women tick. And then I figured out I could make money doing it at the same time. And the rest is history.
But let me ask you this question. Was it worth risking the marriage with your wife?
Yes.
It was.
Yes, it was. Because I was not happy just being a square, going to a 9 to 5, and then coming home and listening to her whine and bitch and bellyache about stupid shit all day. I just like, damn. Like I said, I was working at a prison. I just got done seeing someone's throat get cut. Then I got to come home and I got to listen to her talking about she want to go to the amusement park. Like, bitch. I ain't got my foot in the door. And you already talking this Mary Poppins shit. You know what I mean? Right. I ain't got the blood out my uniform. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
it sounds like you were bored.
Oh, I was beyond bored.
You were bored.
I was beyond bored, man. But still, it was more irritating than anything because me being not locked up, but me working with convicts, man, how can I put this shit, man? The wife, she was just so good and so dainty and so feminine. She just wasn't fitting into my energy, man. You know what I mean? She just wasn't, because I was like working at the prison and I was just, everything was just gangster. Everything was just macho. Everything was just, I don't have the words to define it, man, but she just wasn't fitting into my energy and my lifestyle, man. And that's why I was kind of like more gravitating towards hood rats.
So that consumed that background where you were working with all these goddamn killers and ruthless motherfuckers.
Yeah, I was just surrounded by
gangsters. That infiltrated your personality, is what you're saying.
Well, yeah, but it was always there because, like I said, my uncles and my cousins, they cut from that. So I was always around it, but now I'm working in an environment where like for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, I'm just inundated with that energy, man. And I'm just like, I can't stand this 9 to 5 goody two shoes ass existence. It's getting on my nerves, man. You know what I mean? I want to be out here in the streets mixing it the fuck up. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
So, okay. Uh, the thing with me, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you were already out the door. You were already out the door, right?
Yeah,
You
I
were-
made up my mind that once my youngest son turned 18, I was gonna bounce.
okay,
So
so
it so happened when wife did her indiscretion, he was actually 17 at the time. So that's when I
damn, all this happened when your son was still in the house. Ah, word?
yeah, my biological, my 17-year-old, well, he was 17 at the time.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. That's my youngest son. I'm not
Right.
talking about my adopted or my fosters. I'm talking about my blood. I said for if I go anywhere, I'm not leaving until my job is done. And
Right.
I was like 17 and 18, my job is done. You know what I mean? And so I'm gonna
Right.
bounce in. But then again, like I said, you know, she was a good woman, she was a good wife, and I didn't want to stick around and really kind of like thoroughly fuck up her life because I've seen how my lifestyle and my mindset was making her miserable.
So you
That's,
basically went out there. You were saving her from you. Is that what you're saying?
yes, yes.
Okay.
Because like I said, when Jada said, I haven't been happy in such a long time, I mean, that was like straight out of Lynette's mouth, you know, because I mean, she wants to do regular square shit that, you know, that you would do with a family. And like I said, I got home from work. I ain't even washed the blood out my uniform yet. And I'm like, I don't think I want to do is just hit the streets, nigga. I'm about to hit this strip club. I'm about to go check these traps. I'm about to go pimp on some bitches. Shit, man. You know, it's a crazy thing, man. But I could not stomach sitting there with no woman while she talking about let's go on a picnic, and it was just so I didn't want to hear it, man. I didn't want to hear it. I want to get into something. Shit, let's get into the dope game. Let's get into the pimp game. Ridiculous juvenile shit.
So
But
the niggadry just took over you.
yes, it did. But
The,
see,
the niggadry consumed you. That's what it was. You was overcome by the niggadry.
well, once again, you know how everyone says that you gotta go through your player stage. You know,
Yeah.
you got to get things out of your system.
Mhm.
I never got a chance to get these sort of things out of my system because
Boom. That's exactly where I was going. That's
straight out,
exactly where I was going. When did
yes,
you get married, my nigga?
18, well, 19,
18. He got
18 or
married
19.
at 18 or 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't ready to be married at that time.
No,
Were
I would. Oh, hell no. But obviously, obviously not. Shit, man. Yeah, I never got a chance to just do stupid shit, man. It was just coming out my pores, man. I was like, damn, man, I'm so sick and tired of not being able to go where I want to go and do what I want to do. And I'm like, I'm taking on all this responsibility. Not only am I taking care of my seeds, but now, you know, I have this internal demon of seeing other young black men being abandoned and not being cared for. So then I took on that responsibility. So I just had the weight of the world on my shoulders, man. I was on some Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde shit, man. I was like, I'm going to be the best and the worst of both worlds. I'm going to be a dream to some and a nightmare to others, obviously. Because, yeah, I was living a secret lifestyle. I was hell on wheels. But yeah, I had to purge it. I had to get it out my system, man. All my other cousins and brothers, they had that luxury. They didn't get married. They didn't give two shits about you know, marriage and contracts and you know, just doing shit the right way. They was just doing typical street nigga shit. So they got a chance to purge all that. Me, I was the only one that got married right out of high school. Went straight to the military, went straight to war, Desert Storm, did all the
so in
things
other
that you're
words,
supposed to do.
You was responsible for a long time.
Yes, very
You needed
responsible.
you needed a way to cut loose.
Oh yeah.
You didn't you didn't finish going through your dog stage.
Man, I never got a chance, man. I never started going through the dog stage
And
until 20, about maybe 15 years into the marriage. It started to back up on me. And I just started wilding the fuck out, man.
and so that shit just all exploded. Would you say like working in the prison, is that what lit that shit? Was that the fuse? Was that the spark that lit the fuse to where you just said, look, fuck it, I'm just gonna get out here and do this?
Yeah, because I couldn't see myself working in that prison for the rest of my life for retirement. I was seeing everyone else that was working there. As soon as they would retire, they would die because of the stress of just working there. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be one of these motherfuckers that just up here and they retire at 30, and then 2 years after that, or 30 years in, and then 2 years after they retire, they croak over stroke or a heart attack. That ain't gonna be me. So I had to get an exit plan. And it just so happens I just stumbled upon uh, you know, the pimp game, because I stumbled upon that doing security for strippers. Shit, because of course my whole life has been security,
You were
military
doing
shit.
wait a minute, you were doing security for strippers? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how I got started, initially doing the pimping. Matter of fact,
Oh,
my first choosing fee came from Crybaby Nish. She gave me like $400 just to escort her to a party, make sure that she was safe. And at that point, I didn't call it a choosing fee. It was more so she was just needed security. But as time went on, she wanted me to just hold her money, make sure that nothing happened to it. And I was charging her. I was just like, shit, if you want me to tag along and do this shit with you, shit, it's gonna cost you. You know what I mean? And she was
okay.
breaking me off. And then other females heard about it. And before you know it, I had about 5 or 6 females that I was escorting to, strip shows, and they was all paying me to do it. And yeah, that's what started it off right there. And I was like, man, I can make money doing this shit, but it wasn't enough money where I could quit my job. And then I started videotaping them on some old pervert shit. And then cats started asking me about the videos that I was creating with these females and shit. I'm like, man, I can make more money doing this too.
Wow.
Shit. And that was my exit strategy. I'm like, I'm gonna pimp old hoes and get into porn. That's what I'm gonna do. And everybody was like, are you serious? I was like, yep. I'm not joking. I'm gonna do this shit. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. Mm-hmm. I'm
So
still go ahead.
so let's run it back. You got married too early.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't go through your dog stage, and you was completely submerged in the niggatry in the streets.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, and working in the pen don't help, man, because you
Oh
run into
yeah, I
all
forgot
sorts of
that.
you
Yeah.
run into all sorts of cats that give you tips on how to pimp on bitches and how to just do all sorts of grimy criminal shit. Even though I'm a corrections officer, I was getting a whole lot of info, whole lot of tips on doing shit I ain't supposed to do, man. I'm like, man, it'd be a fool to waste all this knowledge. I'll be foolish.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, most of this shit was motivated by the fact that you were born.
Well, yeah, just bored. I just, man,
You just
I
couldn't
had
come
to.
home. You weren't gonna be a motherfucker that was gonna come home and cut the grass after a riot in Lebanon.
Mm.
That wasn't you.
Well, that's what I was doing, but
That just wasn't you.
well, I can't even say that. I just got tired of Lynette being in my face, bothering me with stupid shit. I did not want to live that life because she could not relate to me, and I could no longer relate to her. I was completely submerged in the dark side of the grit and the grime of existence. She was just like, she was literally like Mary Poppins, man, the sweetest woman you could ever be, man. You know what I mean? She is a virtual saint. When she walks, you can literally see rose petals and the sun come through the clouds and shit. You know what I mean? I was the exact opposite of that shit, man. I was Lucifer, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And we was just, it just wasn't gonna work out no more, man. I was beholden to the dark side when all this shit really popped off with her and that dude when she got her little boyfriend and shit. I'm like, yeah, because this was meant to be. Because I always wanted her to do that. I'm like, she need to find someone gonna make her happy. Because I'm not it. I'm no longer that dude that can make her happy and that can put a smile on her face. I belong to the streets now. Sounds fucked up, sounds stupid to throw away a good woman like that. But
You belong to the streets.
I belong to the streets, man, and I ain't never turned back. Shit. And to this very day, man, I don't regret my decision, man, because I was going crazy in that house, man. She was driving me bats, Tony, driving me just insane. I was like, damn it, man, shit. Like, no, I'm not going to the amusement park. I'm not going to the fair. I'm not doing none of that shit. No, I'm about to hit these streets. I'm about to pimp on some bitches. She was looking at me like, what? I was like, shit, go find you something to do. Get you a boyfriend or something. Ass backwards. Yeah. But nah, I don't regret that shit, man. Like I said, it ain't a week that don't go by. She still ain't trying to get me back. But it's okay.
And that's interesting because, see, here's the thing. After you took her through what you took her through, the question becomes is, why would she want you back? That's what I'm saying. I mean, come on, nigga, you did some shit. You did some shit, nigga. Why would she take you back?
Shoot. Oh, that's easy, man. She need a male influence, a masculinity in her life, man, because there's a lot of things that's going on with her that she can't handle by herself because she's a woman. Like she got like neighborhood kids over there where she staying right now. It's kind of like a low end neighborhood. They terrorizing the shit out of her on her own property, and she just longs for the days where she had a man in the house that would come out and read them motherfuckers a riot act and tell them, if you don't stay the fuck up my shit, I'm gonna kill all you little niggas. You know what I mean? Just simple shit like that. Because she was always calling me, talking about, and she would literally be crying on the phone. Be like, I don't know what to do. I don't, this is happening and that is happening and no one to help me. And like, these are the things that you need in your life. Like I said, when you have a man in your life, these are the things that he can take care of. And you ain't got to worry about that kind of shit.
Well, let me ask you this question. It's a question I know the answer to, but I'm going to ask you. Why won't you go back?
Because she made her choice.
She made her choice. What do you mean when she made her choice?
She made her choice. The minute she said that she loved that other nigga, you gonna have to live with your choice.
The nigga you told her to go get.
Yeah, yeah. I like shit. Hey, check it, man. I don't play no games, man.
So wait. Let me see if I understand this.
Yeah.
You tell her to go get a nigga, right?
Yeah.
She go get the nigga, and you ain't going back because she got the nigga you told her to get.
Hey, it'd be different if she was just fucking a nigga, but she wasn't doing that. She fell in love with the nigga. What I look like, now see, that would make me a cuck. That would make me a simp if I actually did go back and she professed her love for this motherfucker. Cause you familiar with the term imprinting, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So basically, at this point in time, she no longer seen me as the alpha male because she fell in love with this motherfucker, right? So she no longer loves me. She's still in love with this dude, even though he's no longer with her.
What? How do you know that? How do you know that?
How do I know what?
She's still in love with this dude.
Shit, she ain't professing her love for me. So I don't know who the fuck she love, but it ain't me. Shit. It ain't me. You know what I mean? So
you don't think her trying to get you back home, you don't think that any love is involved in that?
No.
You think you're just a tool and a convenience?
Yes, I'm just a utility. That's all I am. She is like, fuck, I can't get certain shit done. No one will do this and that for me. I need a strong masculine presence in this house. And the only person that she can really readily think of would be me.
Okay. Shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me ask you this question. Do you think you contributed to that loss of love?
Did I contribute to the loss of love? Of course I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that. But it's just nature. I mean, it wasn't anything malicious. It wasn't anything that was done on purpose. People
Right.
just grow apart, man.
Got you.
People just grow apart, and people
Got you.
go do what they do. That's why, when I'm looking at the Jada and the Will thing, I'm just like, hey, it is what it is. People just grow apart. People do shit. People put their own spin on shit, man. People, I don't know, man. Just I have a lot more sympathy for Jada than most cats. You know what I mean? Because
You right about that shit, because I ain't got
yeah,
no sympathy for that
I
bitch.
got I
I'm
got a
sorry.
little bit
I
more
don't.
sympathy for her,
I
even
don't.
though,
I
like I
don't. I
said,
don't have no sympathy for
mm,
that bitch.
yeah, like I done been around the track with a lot of niggas, man, and my experience is most of the time when females swerve and spin out of control like that, it's usually a reaction to what the nigga is doing and shit. Even though we don't have any concrete proof that Will has been doing anything, it's just my experience that typically the man starts to shit in motion, and then when he gets what he gets, then he want to get the Will Smith face. Be like, whoa, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that time and time again, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
So a lot of cats can spin that all they want, but I've been there, man. I done been there, no doubt.
Wow. Okay. All right. This has been eye opening. It's always eye opening when I get a chance to pick your brain and your past experiences. This shit is always hilarious. Let me ask you something. Well, if I know you have a podcast coming out on this later,
Mm-hmm.
where are you with the villain in black?
Oh, this bitch is getting on my goddamn nerves, boy.
Oh, you mean she's back?
Oh, hell yeah, she back, man. She been blowing up my phone for the past 3 days, man. I've been spinning the shit out of her, man. The conversation that we had, I was ignoring her so much. She actually came over my crib like at 12 midnight. You know what I mean? Because she had erased me out of her phone. She had blocked me on Facebook, all sorts of shit, man. And then had the nerve to send me like 4 Cash App requests, you know, since January of this year was the last time I actually heard from her. But she's so greasy and grimy. This bitch, she don't even have the common decency to pick up the phone and call me to apologize. She lead with Cash App requests, talking about how she needs some money. And I was like, bitch, so I just ignored her ass for 6 months straight. And it was just driving her bats, driving her crazy. So this bitch, she show up at my door, banging on the door. Oh, shit, man.
She
Yeah.
showed up. Wait. After taking you out the phone
Yeah.
and talking as slick as she was talking, she showed up at your door, banging on the door
Yeah.
at midnight. At
At
midnight.
midnight. She's like, why you acting like that? You know who I am. You know, I was just like, yeah, I know who the fuck you are. And I was just like, you ain't stepping up in my shit until you apologize. And then she was rolled her eyes, sucked her teeth, like, I'm sorry, daddy. And I was like, that don't sound convincing enough. I want to hear it again. I'm sorry, daddy. Then I let her in and we sat down. And I'm like, you need to explain your motherfucking self. And so we sat and we talked for about an hour. And I was just like, I'm trying to tell you, it took all my strength not to smack the shit out of her, man. I was like, I just wanted to smack the shit out of her and send her on her way. I couldn't believe this shit, man. I was like, you talking about how dare I ignore your cash apps and I need you and I need help and like bitch, you the one told me to kick rocks and you don't need me. So I thought I'd give you a chance to prove it, bitch. And it's obvious that that didn't last too long. Shit. But yeah, she gave me a big old story about her and her little bottom shelf Brad and shit. Yeah, but I'm gonna keep that to myself right now. I'm gonna
Is the nigga gone?
Yeah, he locked back up.
Oh, he locked back up. So she
Yeah, he
gonna
locked back up.
swerve you for this. Okay, this
Mm-hmm.
ain't even shocking because this happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This happened. So he's locked back up now. She's out here on her own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but shit, let me see. He got locked up in March though. So she been out here basically by herself, being a rogue hoe. You know what I mean? For like since March. Yeah. I'm like, damn, you been out here a long time without no sponsorship, bitch. Okay. All right. So she's like, yeah, I need help. I'm fucked up. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, I know. And so she was, well, I will let this cat out the bag. She needed $60. And I was like, I ain't got 60.
She needed 60.
Yeah, she needed $60. But I got 30.
$60.
Yeah, and you ain't getting this 30 unless you put in that work. Shit. And she was pissed, nigga. She was hot.
Oh no.
She was like, seriously? I was like, shit, how bad you want it? God damn it. Because obviously treating her like a fucking human being, didn't work. Cause shit, I was just lacing her with bread just because she was a cool bitch. I'm like, here, take this 100, take this 200, and she ain't got to do shit for it. You know what I mean? And then how she repaid me, she go and kick me to the curb, throw me under the bus for the bottom shelf bread. And I ain't tripping, if you go and do your thing with another motherfucker, fine, that come with the game. But bitch, do not disrespect me in the process.
That was my point. That was my point about the whole Will and Jada thing.
Right.
That's what that's what I've been trying to get across.
Right.
If you do your thing, but don't disrespect me. Don't do that. That's the whole thing. And we don't know if he did say in there, he said, well, I'm gonna have to get you back for this. And she was like, no. And this is the one statement that could be construed to the fact that he's done something to her in the past. But she said, oh no, you don't need to. We're good. We're good. We're good. So that's been my whole position. If we got an agreement to do something, let's say that they had that agreement. Again, disrespect violates the agreement. Disrespect violates the agreement. She disrespected this man's reputation. She disrespected this man's family. She disrespected this man's home. If you want to go off and fuck this off-brand trash bag nigga, go do that. But don't disrespect me in the process.
Right.
You understand? That's what's fucking, that's what fucked with me. Okay. I could have given her a degree of latitude if this wasn't so brazen. This wasn't so balls out. But when I hear, again, in case you don't know by now, to me, LD is Jada to me.
Obviously.
Obviously, LD is Jada to me. And you are the Will Smith of this situation. Because you openly said, well, look, okay, I know what it is, bitch, go do what you do. And then she go do what she do, and the shit blow up in her face, and now she got to come back to you. The same way her shit blew up in her face with her dude, and now she got to drag this nigga in front of the world.
Right.
You see, that to me is the most cruel form. That is the most cruel sense of injustice in this whole thing. If you had this agreement, then why are you not abiding by the rules that come with this agreement? That's my thing. Why are you, bitch, why am I here? Why you got me here? Because you went and fucked the nigga that couldn't keep his mouth closed. Why am I here? Why am I here embarrassing my name and my legacy in front of the world? For this trash bag, for this glad trash bag ass, unscented trash bag ass nigga that you dug out of the streets. Why am I here for this? If I gave you consent to go do your own thing, bitch, you can't do your own thing better than this? Man. Whatever I'm doing, obviously what I'm doing is working, because ain't nobody coming here and snitching on me.
Right.
This nigga snitching on you on prime time TV. He's snitching on you on the Breakfast Club. Then he go get with this other, flabby nigga and make a diss track about us. This nigga trying to go platinum off of me. This the nigga you chose? And it's just like when you said, well, bitch, I done all this cool shit for you, and you spin me for a fucking felon? A white felon? Mm-hmm. B-Rad is one thing. This nigga ain't even B-Rad. This nigga is, what's the motherfucker from Oz? The white boy from Oz?
There's a lot of white boys on Oz.
What is the motherfucker's name? God damn. What's that white boy on Oz? That's the white boy on Oz. God damn it. The guy that's in the area. The guy that's in the area.
Schillinger?
Yeah. This ain't B-Rad. You spin me for Schillinger? Are you serious? And now you gonna come back after Schillinger done pump and dumped you?
Boy, the shit that I was like, the explanations that she was giving was just worthless. You know what I mean? Because remember, I told you, man, that she was basically spinning false flags, man. Everything that she was spitting, she meant, but she was trying to blame it on the white boy. You know what I mean? Like, nah, this shit ain't coming from the white boy. It's coming from
you mean when she was explaining why she did what she did?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so in other words, she was apologizing without apologizing. It's his fault.
Yeah, but yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. I think I made her apologize like 5-6 times because I knew it was just rubbing her just raw, just having to say, well, like first she was just like, well, okay, I apologize. I'm like, no, say I'm sorry, nigga. Say I'm sorry. Shit, she's like, okay, I'm sorry. And then she go into a little song and dance, man, about, the shit that she was texting me. Because I saved all the texts. I saved everything. And I read everything back to that bitch when we sat down about 3 or 4 days ago. I'm like, this is what you said right here. You know what I mean? And she was just shook like, damn. I'm like, yeah, you can't escape this shit, bitch. I saved all of this shit just for this day right here. Well, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then she went right back to, how fucked up she is. She need money. And I was like, yeah, I got 30. I didn't have 75.
you got away with 30.
I got some, it wasn't great head, but, just to see her on her knees, you know what I mean? Capitulating, bending the knee was enough. You know what I mean? $30, bitch. That's right. And you ain't getting a motherfucking dime ever again unless you on your knees. I'm not playing with you. God damn it. I couldn't believe this shit, man. I'm like, well, fucked up now. Fucked up now. Yeah, and the job that I helped her get, because remember, I told you I helped put her through school with those online courses to do all them security jobs and the jail and the prison and all that. Of course, she lost that job.
Of course she lost it.
Because she hard-headed and she can't listen to people and she always want to try and run shit, so she got fired from that job. So that's why she got to come back. See, these chicks, they their own worst enemy, man. I don't have to do shit. In order for me to actually come up aces and come out ahead of the game, shit, they their own worst enemy. I ain't got to do shit. I just sit back. You know the phrase. Yeah. Time is our friend.
Time is my friend.
And I just sit back, I'll bide my time, and I watch you crash and burn and watch your stupid ass crawl back, bitch. That's what you gonna do. So shit, she been texting me all goddamn past 2 days, texting me, and I'm just sick of her. You know what I mean? I was living such a peaceful existence before this bitch came back. Mm. So now I gotta make a decision. I'm like, is it time for me to cut ties with this bitch and move on or what? Because I got another female that's half her fucking age. You know what I mean? Donna don't seem to understand that I don't want to say she's hit the wall because to me she's still bad. She's still a fine ass bitch, man. But just the headache of dealing with her narcissism and her psychopathy, man. It's like, fuck, do I really want to go back down this road with this bitch again? You know she ain't gonna act right.
That's the wall, nigga. That's the wall. Do you really want to put up with all that shit 10, 15 years later? Do you really want to put up with all that shit? It's a 15-year span between 2005 and 2020. Whereas you were apt to put up with that shit in 2005 or 6, you're not apt to put up with it now. And that's the clearest indication that she's hit the wall.
Yeah, she done hit that wall. She don't seem to understand. Matter of fact, that's the kind of problem I'm having out of all of them. Because actually, Donna's the only one that's keeping herself fit and trim and like really looking good. You know what I mean? Like the other girls, man, like my girl Nish, Hydra. Man, have you seen Hydra lately, nigga? Hydra is big as a house. Big as a house. And they got the nerve to be thinking that they command top dollar. I'm like, no. I'm like, you done fucked up. Who the fuck is this? No, DJ. I'm not dealing with your stupid shit right now. Yeah, man. So yeah, I got like a lot of females that came up in the game that's like they done hit 40, they done hit the wall, and they still thinking they 20. And they wondering why I'm not breaking bread. I'm like, I got newer bitches. I got younger models right now, man. Like, and especially if you acting stank, if you acting like somebody owe you something, like, nah, then we ain't gonna do that. Like, you need to come to the table with some humility or something. Because I'm a big believer in loyalty. That's the main reason why I still been fucking with him. Because we've been so deep in the game. DJ, goddamn it, boy. Shit. Hold on, dog. Hold on.
That sounds like he finna get busted, nigga. That sounds like he.
Hello.
That's like a jail call.
Hello. What up, nigga?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What app is that?
What app, nigga?
This dumbass computer thing you got on your phone.
Oh, my call blocker. To stop
What app is that called?
I don't know. I gotta look it up. It's Robo Killer.
Oh. You talked to Nish yesterday?
Did I talk to Nish? Yeah, it was like early in the morning. I talked to her. Why, what's up?
Oh, no, did you tell her?
Oh, I'll tell her about how we seen Nicole at the hotel with that raggedy nigga. Nah. I ain't even hit it with that shit yet, man. Nope.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are getting a slice of life as it happens in Mac City. This is actually how it goes down. This is not scripted. This is 100% real.
Nigga, you trying to get me shot?
These things happen.
Yeah, you trying to get me shot?
Real.
Nah, man. I mean, you want to pull up on a nigga with his bitch? Shit. I mean, you don't know what he got on, huh?
That was your girl. I was just telling you that there she go.
Well, I know not to be traveling with your ass. You be tempted to do silly shit, man. You know what I mean?
That was your girl. I was telling you that your girl right there.
Shit, man.
Talking about her. That we look up, there she go. That's weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was some crazy shit, man. But yeah, she hit me up on
crazy shit, wasn't it?
Yeah,
she said some weird shit. We were just talking about her 30 seconds ago. As soon as we pulled up, I met this white dude. I look over like, there she go right there.
Yep.
That was funny as hell yesterday. But I Hey, well, shit, man. I was wondering see if you have you talked to Nish. Mika chick, she said, look on that motherfucker Tuesday morning. She
Right.
be on there Tuesday morning.
Okay. Well, I gotta go pick her up in Cincinnati. Okay. I gotta pick her up anyway from the hospital. So
you gotta go pick her up.
yeah, because her leg, her hip broke. So
God damn, nigga.
Yeah. So
no, I'm talking about that money.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I know that money. I got you. Cause you talking about Mika, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Mika.
Okay. So where you at?
I'm over there in Moraine at the house.
All right. Okay, then. Well, hey, Dig, let me get back to what I was doing, man. I'm like actually doing a show right now, man. So I'm on the computer.
Oh, okay. My bad.
No problem. But I hit you up later.
Okay, Pops.
All right, love you. Bye.
Love you too, peace.
Okay.
God damn, nigga. Did you say her hip broke? God damn.
Oh, you didn't know Nish was in the hospital?
Nah, she in the hospital with a broken hip.
Yeah. She got to some beef or a squabble down in Cincinnati with some other bitches over her brother. And then it turned into a high-speed chase.
Oh,
She
nigga.
fucked around and she crashed her truck into somebody's car. And then she ended up getting her leg and her hip broke. And so she down there right now.
What was a high speed? She got into it was a high speed chase from the bitch that she was fucking with, or was this with the police?
Shit, she said she was running from the. Let me see. She said they was running from the situation with the girls, and then they knew that the police was coming, and so I don't know if the police was behind them. They could not have had the police behind them because she be in jail and her brother be in jail right now, or at least her brother would be. So I don't think the police got there in time to actually break anything up. So I think they was running from the females.
Nigga, if this is an accident, she's supposed to have been in jail regardless.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man.
Nigga, these bad little bitches. Damn.
Yeah. And motherfuckers be like, they always gonna need somebody to pull their ass out the goddamn hot water, man, because they just they retarded, man. They don't know what the fuck they doing when it comes to just the very basics of life. I'm like, damn, she just got this truck and she went ahead and totaled it. Or actually her brother totaled it because her brother was driving. They was trying to get away from a fight or altercation and trying to get out of Cincinnati before the police showed up. Because I think she was whooping up on two bitches. And then at that time, they called the police. So they tried to bounce before the police got there. And then she fucked around and had a car wreck. And Hydra did the exact same thing. 4th of July, she fucked around and someone hit and ran her. And I helped her get this car. You know that?
Nah.
Yeah.
What you mean you helped her get the car?
Well, I drove down to an auction down around Middletown.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I drove down there with her and, just shuttled her back and forth to get the car. And then 2 days later, it got totaled. And then motherfuckers is like, people are always asking, why do women need pimps? Or why do women need husbands? I'm like, well, I can attest to why.
This is why they need husbands. This shit here is why they need husbands.
They need guidance, man.
God damn. Nigga.
So all of them are pretty much walking. All of them are pretty much fucked up, destitute, ain't got no money, ain't got no ride. And they soon to possibly be homeless. You know what I mean? But you see that Nish ain't calling nobody that she's sucking and fucking on to come get her out the hospital. She called me.
Of course not. Yeah.
Yeah, she called me. She called Mr. Dependable.
I remember what was it? It was during the COVID thing. During the COVID thing, you was going through, your little personal situation. She wanted you to ignore your personal situation to come get her, and she basically thought she was infected. She wasn't really infected, but she thought she was infected. Like, bitch, okay, can't you see I'm going through some personal shit here? Fuck what's going on with you. Come see about me because I may be infected with COVID.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crazy shit, man. And then shit, like me and DJ, it was funny because yesterday we actually pull up on Nicole at the hotel. And now Nicole, she just got out of jail. So
I was just about to say she out
yeah,
this
she
early.
out. Yeah, she out. And she fucked around and she met some nigga straight out the halfway house. So I guess
Oh,
now she in love. So I ain't really heard from her. But I take my son DJ to this hotel. This hotel's notorious for drug activity. So I drop him off over there because he got to do something. I'm not necessarily sure what he was doing. I'm pretty sure he was making a play. But he get out and he like, look, Pop, there go your girl right there. I was like, what? And I see her and I see her pull up with this nigga, man. I was like, man, I ain't gonna blow her up. I ain't gonna blow up the spot. You know, DJ, he a thug. He don't give a fuck. So he like, hey, bitch. He like, hey, bitch. And I'm like, man, get your ass in this ride, boy. He's like, nah, fuck that shit. He's like, hey. And so the nigga she was with, he get up out the car, he looking around, DJ looking at him like, nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, here we go. You know what I'm saying? Nicole, she act like she don't even know who the fuck we are. She run up them steps to the hotel room so quick, she didn't even acknowledge who he was, man. But DJ and this nigga, they both looking at each other like, what? And I'm like, DJ, come on, man, you making the spot hot, man. Come on, let's go. Let's just go. He's like, hey, bitch, come here. Oh shit, man. Yeah. And so she hit me up earlier today. You know what I'm saying? Just saying hi. So I think she's about ready to stop fucking with him. Because whenever they start reaching out like that, just saying hi, putting their feelers out, they ready to come back home. Yeah, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Boy, you something else, man. You got me on here telling all my business, boy.
Nigga, you tell all your business in Patreon.
Tell it.
You have to pay for it.
Shit, boy. God damn it. But shit, but that's only a small group of people. Just a small group. Shit. I don't know where this going, man. Is this gonna stay out here?
Nah, this ain't staying out here, man. You know I'm not gonna leave this out here. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
already kind of, got off the beaten path by doing this, but I figured fuck it. Because this was too good to pass up,
Okay.
This was too good to pass up. So, this definitely is gonna get put in my Patreon. I'm not gonna leave this out here for public consumption.
Okay.
But my thing is I just I wanted to get your input, which I kind of knew what your input was, because it was, in a way, it's strangely similar. Not strangely, the shit is similar to what your situation is. But to me, the characters were different. I didn't even see Lynette in the mix.
Right.
Because this drama works without her being in. We clearly knew that she would be the innocent one in this party. We clearly knew that, she ain't got no smoke in this. She ain't jumped off the porch in this.
Right.
But my thing is that, okay, if you had this open relationship with this chick, and in this case, it's LD. You had this open relationship with this ratchet bitch, because LD is a ratchet bitch. She's ratchet.
Yeah.
And then you have this open relationship with this ratchet bitch, and then she turn around and do some shit that's completely disrespectful. That's completely out of the bounds of the agreement. I didn't think that you could be blamed any more than Will could be blamed.
Right.
So my thing was, if he was blamed for anything, if y'all were to blame for anything, it is for trying to save this bitch. It is for trying to save a bitch that can't be saved. But you pointed out earlier, you said that, your wife was, a good woman. You got married too early, coming out of high school. You've always been, the responsible dude, and you got around an environment and you just had to cut loose because you didn't get that opportunity. And then on top of it, you were bored with married life. You could juxtapose going to, working where you were working and seeing the blood and guts, and then coming home saying, look, are you going to wash these dishes? Look, can we go to the amusement park? Look, can we go to the grocery store? You were saying that there was some inconsistency there. There was the contrast was too great where you were concerned. So you answered the question as to how you wound up in the streets, and you answered the question as to why you wound up in the streets. Because one thing you were able to do is you were able to say, well, look, I don't see anything wrong with marriage, but you have to be wise when you do it. But I married a good woman. And you were saying, this woman was good. It's just, I did because I didn't want to keep fucking her up.
Right.
Okay. So that's what here, when I look at that situation, is spots of these scenes that I see similar to Will. So just like nobody can't throw shade at you, I didn't think anybody could throw shade at him. Now, you said the similarity. You said, well, usually when they do some grimy shit, it's usually in response to whatever you're doing. And that's fine. But see, the thing with yours is you didn't hide your shit. You didn't hide it. You brought them home. Obviously, this shit that she was doing was hidden. So how open could the relationship have been if this nigga was surprised? You see? Okay. So my thing is okay, sometimes it's just what it is. Sometimes you just marry a ratchet bitch. Sometimes you just hook up with her for whatever reason, whatever the reason may be. You may be weak for, you may be sweet on her, whatever it is. Sometimes the bitch is just ratchet. That's just what it is. It's no more, no less. You don't point the finger at him and say he's wrong. Sometimes the bitch is just ratchet. So at this point, I'm waiting on the clap back. I'm waiting on him to do a return to this track. Because nigga, that song they made is out cold. Rick Ross is literally putting Will's name in the lyrics. They so bold and brazen with it. So they gonna put this man's name in the rhyme. You see? Yeah. And so I also looked at it that people have a problem. And I can understand why in some instances, and I can understand, their skepticism. People have a problem with a guy that's good. Because they don't have a problem with them. I mean, let's get real here. They got more smoke for Will than they got for August Alsina.
Yeah. Yep.
They got more smoke for him. And this is the dude who is admittedly the victim in this thing. But they got more smoke for the victim than they got for this nigga that came in there and disrespected his home. Ain't nobody got any disrespect. No one has any smoke for this transient ass, hobo ass nigga. They don't have no smoke for him, but everybody got all the smoke. When I said, well, why is that? It's because at a certain level, I've just come to the conclusion that people are pieces of shit. We just get to the point whereas we don't like decent people. And the reason we don't like decent people is because they make us look and feel fucked up by contrast. In other words, the more moral their character are, the more moral their character is, rather. The more moral their character is, the more grimy and ratchet we look.
Okay.
So we hate that person for being him. So we got to try to find flaws and poke holes in the character just because we feel fucked up. Because, they're in a sense better than us. They're in a sense better than us. Every single one of those women that you were dealing with, if it came down to a choice of niggas in terms of character, in terms of everything, you would have been the superior. But they can't believe that you would do that. You who don't have a lengthy prison record. You that don't have any bodies under your collar. You understand? You that don't have any skeletons as far as crime is concerned, as far as criminal activity, as far as grimy shit is concerned. You know, you ain't in and out of the penitentiary. You understand? You ain't in and out of the county every week. So you would be the dude that you would be the obvious choice. But again, it's something wrong with how they pick dudes. It's something wrong with how they choose dudes and how they choose. They're entitled to their criteria, whatever makes them happy, whatever the case may be. But the problem is what ticked me off is everybody start pointing at the good guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I didn't like. Everybody, no, bitch, you just ratchet. No, Mike is not responsible for your shit with this transient ass, felon ass white boy, this trash bag ass white boy. You just ratchet. You just ratchet. And when it comes to Will, no, the bitch is just ratchet. Don't look for stuff to peek. No, the bitch is just ratchet. That's what it is. Just call it what it is. It's just ratchet. She's already made up a reason not to take accountability for what she did. So we gonna help her be unaccountable for some shit that was clearly wrong? Ah, man, I can't do that. Can't do that. You see, so that was my thing. But you know, we didn't need to expose too much too much of your dirt on this sunny afternoon. But all of this stuff, just so y'all know, all of this stuff is written. This nigga wrote all this shit himself. If you want to be real about it, this nigga has confessed. You just have to pay for the confession. What is it? $24.99 now? $34.99? What is it?
I think it's been such a long time since I've looked at the price of the site. I think it's $24.95.
Okay, $24.95.
I think it is for 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah.
If y'all want to hear and see Big Mike snitch on himself, go to maxcity.com. If you don't want to pay the cost of a web membership at the website, go get a Patreon membership, and it's all right there. It's all right there. Lawless, wild, lawless, unaccountable thug bitches for your consumption. It's right there for you to see. Okay.
Boy, I thought you knew, boy. This whole week is that they've been biting the dust this whole week, Tony. They've been biting the dust, son. They've been needing a good brother in their corner, man. Big Mike, I need your help. I was like, yeah, I know. It's gonna cost you.
It's gonna cost you.
Go cost you.
Go cost you.
Shoot. So,
well, we getting ready to wrap this up, my nigga. Tell them where they can find you, man. As if I hadn't plugged your shit enough. Tell them where they can find you, dog.
Hey, man. www.patreon.com/MacCityLimits. www.patreon.com/MacCityLimits. That's where you can find me on Patreon. There's videos, there's articles, there's podcasts, videos, man, like 10 years worth of content jam-packed up in there. Or if you really want to see something utterly disgusting and irreprehensible, you can go to MacCity.com, which is the adult site. I always contemplate taking that shit down because where I look at it, Tony, the more embarrassed I am, man. As far as
no, you should be embarrassed by taking videos of bitches with candles and sticking out their booty lit on their birthday. Nah, you shouldn't be ashamed of that.
Oh man, I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about me. Man, I'm such a fat cow in that motherfucker. I was like, man, some of them videos that I'm actually on, like, this is disgusting. Like, how could I have this actually circulating out here on the internet? Oh, shit, man. So, but if it wasn't for the fact that I put a lot of work in there, because it is a solid piece of art, you know what I mean? When we talk about social engineering, man, I mean, it's a scholarly work, man. I ain't gonna front. I look back at it now, I'm like, man, this is some heavy shit right here, man. You know, this is before the Me Too movement. You know what I mean? This is before all of these I don't know, just just before Cosby. This like the stuff I was getting away with back then. You can never get away with now. You know what I mean?
That's what it is. They call it BC, before Cosby.
Yeah, man.
You've had several threats, and then you've had several threats, but because they didn't have any damn money,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't have any money, and plus they didn't want to see their shit spread all over the city, of course, because they knew that was gonna happen. So if you take me to court, then that means I told you. The rest in peace, Virgil. I told you what I would have did. I would have had Virgil. Everybody in Dayton know who Virgil is.
Mm-hmm.
I would have had Virgil at the corner of Broadway selling your DVDs. At the corner of 3rd and Broadway selling your DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a thing where you want to snitch and you want to whine and you want to cry, I give you something to cry about.
Mm-hmm.
I give you something.
Sure did.
You gonna sue? You gonna sue? You want to sue me? Oh yeah. I'll be selling your shit out of 14K over there on Hill. I'll be selling your shit out of my boy D-Ski's spot over there on the Bird. I'll be selling your shit all across the city. You want to sue me? And that what they would call me. Tony, where's Mike? I don't know. He's in the last place he was when you saw him. What's his number? It's the same number it was when you were called. I don't know what that is. Well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to call the FBI on Big Mike. I'm going to get the sheriff's department on Big Mike.
Oh, shoot, so, man.
I just, you're lucky. You're lucky. You're lucky because, again, if these bitches had a little bit of paper, man.
Yeah, but anyway, Dig, I like to send shout outs to everybody in the chat. I did not get a chance to basically holler at particular individuals, man, because I don't multitask well. I don't really be looking at the chat, when I'm speaking to Tony. I got the buckwheat. I got to concentrate on just talking. I can't be reading and talking at the same time. You know what I mean? But much love to everybody that support me, man, especially everybody that hollered at me in the chat. Sorry I couldn't necessarily get on here and mention everybody by name. But of course, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to my partner, man, Tony Maceo. I'm glad you finally got back with me for the show.
Yeah.
I'm like, where you at, man?
I had to. I couldn't let this pass.
Because everybody named Mama always like, where the shows at? Where the shows? Especially they always asking where the shows at with me and Tony. You know what I mean? The collabs. And I need to reiterate with these cats, like, for the most part, whenever me and Tony do anything from now on, it's not going to be on my channel. It's not going to be in my Patreon. It's going to be on Tony's Patreon or on his channel because he needs the content.
Yeah, it's going to be on Patreon.
Yeah, he needs to build up his content. So for all the fans that like the collaborations, you know what I mean? If you really want to hear them, you got to go ahead and subscribe to my boy's Patreon or to any of his channels over here. Center of the Board, Power and Strategy, and whatnot. If you're looking for the collaborations.
Well, the thing is at this point, and yeah, everything is going into Patreon, man. I'm not putting any of the stuff out here for public consumption anymore because now niggas have gone back and bitten our old shows.
Okay.
And they sound more like us than us. You got YouTubers and what Godfathers and whatnot that have bitten our material. I told you it was a mistake to give that nigga access to that Patreon. I knew that was gonna happen. And he sounds more like us than us now, but be that as it may. All of my stuff is going in Patreon now. And so that's where it will be. I try to do my content is mainly going to be politics and social commentary over on my other channel, Center of the Board. Do not go to Center of the Board looking for niggardry. You will not find niggardry on that channel. Center of the Board is a political and social commentary channel that is my respectable channel. And so the content over there will be stuff that is, again, related to what's going on in the world of politics, finance, history, culture, race, and critiques of social critiques and whatnot. That's where that information will be. So this goes up. Everything like this will go up in Patreon because I had a chance to talk to uh, one of my colleagues, a good brother of mine, and he was saying, you don't need to make this kind of material, Tony. You don't need to make this kind of material. You need to make the other kind of material.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay, but see, this is actually this is fun when we do this. This
Mm-hmm.
is the fun shit, but I don't like to leave this up. But people had asked me, they had been asking me, what did you think about this? And my thing was simple. This was par for the course. I mean, this was some hood rat shit. This is not anything that's out of the ordinary. My thing was is that I didn't understand why everybody was coming at will. I didn't understand, but then I did understand because we did a podcast some 10 years ago when we said that the black community is a hood rat community. We have a hood rat culture in the black community, and so I know now when I look at it that way, I understood what it is, and I understand why people react the way that they react. As far as the chat room is concerned, shout out to my chat room. I saw my moderator in here, Miss Buckner. Thank you for moderating the channel. Shout out to Brian Jenkins. He's in here. Shout out to Cornell Edwards. He's always been a supporter. He's been a supporter since day one. My man Reginald Petway, Todd Matrix, Charles Cannon. I think View from the Man Cave was in here. Ultimate Blackmail Radio. Go over there and check out View from the Man Cave and Ultimate Blackmail Radio. Those are some killer podcasts over there. Those are some good brothers. Y'all need to go over there and listen to them because they really are leading people to the angels of their higher nature, especially my man over there, View of the Man Cave. Both of those brothers, but especially him because he's talking about stuff we need to hear. Niggas need something other than a daily diet of the shit that's going on in the streets. You need something other than a daily diet of ratchet bitches and drunken cult sex orgies and all kind of shit like that. It may be fun, but you got to have a balanced diet, okay? So go over there and check out View from the Man Cave. I think he's live right now. Tonight, I'm sorry. He's live tonight. Go over there and check him out. View from the Man Cave is live tonight. Go over there and check him out. Subscribe to his channel because that's a good brother. He's always plugging me and giving me a shout out. And I wanted to return that love back to him. I want to return that love back to Ultimate Blackmail Radio. Both of those cats. Go check out and hear what they have to say. Shout out again to C Boogie Productions. I forgot about him. I can't forget about him. C Boogie Productions. And shout out to, of course, my partner here, the one and only Fat Mac. I'm hoping I'm not gonna have to come and get this nigga out of jail one day. I'm hoping I'm not gonna have to come get this nigga out of jail one day or come pick him up. I'll have to call in a favor to get this nigga released. I'm hoping I don't have to do that, but if that's what I have to do, that's what I will do. So with that being said, we getting ready to get out of here. Fat Mac, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, juggling your ratchets, to come in here and give us a slice or give us your perspective on the Will and Jada thing. And thank you for your time and thank you for sharing your wisdom in here with my chat today. This is when I'm the most comfortable, actually, is when I have this nigga here. Because this nigga's entertaining. I mean, the Fat Mac is really an entertaining nigga. This is an entertaining nigga. So over here, we may not have the numbers and we're okay with that because I've always said that we were never for the masses. We were never for the masses. And that's just the way it is and that's just the way it's gonna be. So with that being said, any last words, Mac, before we get up out of here?
No, man. Just appreciate you having me on, man. Just one love to everybody that support the cause. We out.
All right, we out.